Open.
Test, mic test, 6.
Yes, we're back.
Back.
Feeling a bit rusty, Jeff.
I know. I was just thinking of the Welcome Back song. Which you think, how many people actually know that that's from Welcome Back, Kotter?
The Welcome Back song?
Yeah.
I mean, what else would they know it from?
Right?
From Quantum Mania?
I think just, Quantum Mania did steal it. It did kind of borrow it. But
I suppose there's probably young folks in the audience who didn't know that was from that show.
I mean, it's 50 years ago.
What was the premise of that show anyway? It was he left Brooklyn and came back to be a teacher?
Right, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And he was part of the gang. But it was a lovable gang. It was kind of like the T-Birds. You weren't really afraid of the Sweat Hogs.
No.
I don't know who'd win a fight between the Sweat Hogs and the T-Birds.
They had switchblades, but they were combs.
Yeah, exactly. They were just cold. Did you ever have one of those?
Oh, yeah. I used to hate it when you'd flip it a bunch of times and it'd start getting sort of like it wouldn't open all the way.
Right.
I hated that. You have to let it sit for a while.
Yeah, let get the juice in there. How come they never got the other style of popular knives? The butterfly comb. How come they didn't have one of the butterfly?
I've never seen a butterfly comb, but that would have been a great idea.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Yeah. Or how about a gun that shoots combs?
That'd be hilarious.
That would get over.
Oh man, that would. Yeah, I feel a little rusty, but we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to catch up on. The summer of global boiling has been labeled.
Is that a thing? Global boiling?
Global. They got rid of warming. It's too hot.
Because the seas are cooking.
Yeah, the seas are cooking. Anthony, you'll have to vouch for us if you stick your toe in the water there in Florida. Is it like bath water?
Yeah.
That's the rumor. But I don't know. I still got the cold plunge.
I hear there is also a leprosy outbreak in Florida. I don't know if this is true. You can never tell what's true on the internet.
Yeah, nothing's true.
That's very biblical with boiling seas and leprosy.
Oh, wow. Oh, I forgot about the whole prophecy of this. The seas will boil.
Yeah. Wasn't that one Patricia Arquette movie? No, Demi Moore.
Yes, Demi Moore. The seven signs?
I think it was called The Seventh Seal.
Seventh seal.
Yeah.
Seals, signs, one of them. Oh, what's up, YouTube? This might not actually be us. I decided that we might be poorly rendered AI. Let's check our fingers. Like we're actually still at work.
Yeah. You have to try and eat some spaghetti and see how that shakes out. That's also another sign.
Are our fingers rendering properly? And yeah, lots of spaghetti.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. So we've missed a lot. Well, I missed a ton.
Yeah. We were on summer vacation. It's good.
Yeah. But embarrassingly, we can get right into... Well, before we do, we should pay our respects to the legend that is Paul Reubens, a.k.a. Pee Wee Herman. I feel like that should be our kickoff spot. I don't want to know if we want to talk about how we miss... I'm the only one in the world that may or may not have not seen Barbie yet.
That's coming up.
That's coming up. But yeah, we got to talk about Paul Reubens, Pee Wee Herman. We've talked about this on here before. He was the master of kayfabe. He never broke his gimmick. Never broke his gimmick.
Well, if he broke gimmick, he was doing another gimmick.
Yeah, he's doing another gimmick.
There was never a Paul Reubens interview, I don't think, that I can recall.
No, and even if he was, yes, Tequila. What's up, Mike? Yeah. I watched he just found a way to embody it. I saw a clip of him on Conan O'Brien trying on the old Pee Wee suit, and it didn't fit anymore. And he just kind of ripped through it, but then he still started doing the dance anyway. So he just looked like older Pee Wee Herman. But talking about this on here before, so who are the top 3 actors or performers that came up with characters that they were just more known for than even themselves?
Well, I mean, Pee Wee, I don't know if you recall this, but Pee Wee got his break in another character's movie. He was in the Cheech and Chong movies, the early movies. Remember that?
Yeah.
He was the annoying hotel clerk in Next Movie.
Yes, it was Next Movie.
And he actually does his Pee Wee gimmick in the movie, but he gets booed and stuff because Cheech and Chong are like heckling him.
That was actually his film debut in 1980, Cheech and Chong.
He was in a couple of their movies. I don't know if that was the first one.
Yeah, I think that was the first one that he was in, right? Because that was their second movie, right? That was after.
Oh, I have. They've done so many films. They're like James Bond. They did so many, and there's always ones you never saw. It's like I didn't realize that Cheech and Chong had this many films. There's one where they're pirates.
Oh, is that the Corsican Brothers?
Corsican
Brothers.
There's that one where they play Cheech and Chong for a shoot, and they go to Amsterdam to do a comedy festival, which I think a lot of people don't like that one. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that was really good.
But anyway, Pee Wee.
Yeah, Mike brought up a good point, too, that he was in Blow. Was he in Blow?
He was in Blow, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking at, if you look up Pee Wee Herman's filmography, it's a separate filmography than Paul Reubens. Like they're booking them like they're two different characters.
Yeah.
Because he played Thomas Wayne, didn't he? In Batman?
No, he played
Penguin's
Oswald
dad.
Cobblepot's dad.
Yes. Mr. Cobblepot. He was in there, not Thomas Wayne. I thought that would have been good, but
he also played the farter in Mystery Men.
that's right. He was the farter.
He had a lot of good roles. I mean, look, Pee Wee I think is awesome because, like I said, this whole thing, his whole gimmick, which turned into a Saturday morning cartoon, was a dirty nightclub act.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was never meant for kids.
It was never meant for kids.
Yeah, but it pivoted that way.
Yeah.
Didn't people like picket?
Picket Pee Wee? Well, I mean, he had the one incident with what happened. He got caught doing whatever at the dirty movie theater, which I feel like he got too much heat for. I mean,
we wouldn't even be talking about that if the internet was around then.
It's not like he was rubbing off at Beauty and the Beast. It was like it was a dirty movie theater.
It was a triple header too, but still,
yeah.
But they were really well known.
And he wasn't in his Pee Wee costume.
No, exactly.
He grew a beard and long hair and was undercover.
Yeah.
And somebody had to go, spoil his afternoon
and ruin it for him.
Yeah,
that sucks. So yeah, Mike called it the kayfabe Rushmore of characters, and that's got to be Pee Wee, Elvira, Ernest, and that fourth rotating head. Every Mount Rushmore has that fourth rotating head. Who would it be? Joe Bob Briggs?
Well, I mean, I feel like Cheech and Chong are up there.
Right, but do they count?
Who are your first three? Pee Wee,
Ernest,
Elvira, and Ernest.
Ernest. Right.
Okay, sure.
But who's that fourth? Does Cheech and Chong count as... Well, Cheech was his nickname, but Thomas Chong, that was his real name.
Yeah, but they were still doing... They were doing their gimmick from the albums called Pedro de Pacas and Man.
Oh, yes.
That was a sketch they used to do on their show, on their album.
Is that when they did it on a stage show too, right? Where they just sit in the chairs next to each other?
Yeah, and they turned that into the basis of the movies. Andy Kaufman, well, I mean...
Wow, that's a pretty powerful choice. Just because you don't know who Andy Kaufman really was.
That's his whole gimmick, is we don't even know him at all.
Yeah, like maybe he is the actual mountain and not just the Mount Rushmore head on there.
Yeah,
Tim and Eric are really good. That's the good modern choice too.
I don't think they're doing characters. They have characters, but they're not living a gimmick.
Yeah,
you know,
he lived the gimmick.
Who the ones that actually live the gimmick, though, I think your first three are definitely there. Cheech and Chong, I guess maybe they're about halfway there, but I don't know who else is comparable outside of the wrestling industry.
Stephen Colbert, yeah, he did that for a little while, right? That was his gimmick, and then it just kind of pivoted into really him. Yeah, that's a good choice too. We're gonna have to do a little research on that. I can't think, because I feel like what's underestimated with Pee Wee is the bravery on how...
Can we look at young Pee Wee? Look how awesome young Pee Wee is right here.
His hair is
he looks hard. You would not want to fight this guy, I don't think. No. Because he looks like he probably is skinny, but you can tell he's wiry and scrappy. Like he's probably been in a lot of fights.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's nightclub Pee Wee, for sure. That version of nightclub.
That's nightclub Pee Wee, yeah.
They were doing lines with Phil Hartman. Like, you would not want to mess with him.
Yeah.
Is it true that the Alamo, on the day Pee Wee died, did they have like a fake basement dedication to him?
I didn't see that, but I saw they painted the dinosaurs.
They did?
The dinosaurs from that one scene, they painted them to have a Pee Wee suit on.
Man. How much did he do for the Alamo?
Yeah.
He did a lot for the Alamo. People may have forgotten about the Alamo.
The guides there tell you they get asked that every tour.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's like a Tim Robinson sketch. It's like every tour asks you, can we see the basement? That movie, one of the reasons Pee Wee got over so huge was because of that first movie, which that is because of Tim Burton.
Yeah.
I mean, that movie is it's just something that would never get made today. It's just like unmatched, you know?
Yeah.
Like they don't make low budget movies like that anymore. Like that was probably a small couple $1 million. Okay, Pee Wee and you weirdo kid, go make this movie and just make sure it's 5 reels long and we're gonna play it. You know, but it was just so stylized and so cool. Created the whole Pee Wee world. None of the other movies, subsequent movies, matched up to that at all. They never.
Tough.
They were not even close.
There was one in 2016 that I never even saw. That's on Netflix.
I did see it. I didn't think it was that great, but
Pee Wee's Big Holiday.
it's just one of those movies you cannot. You just can't level up to that amount of genius that's just collaborating.
Yeah.
You know, because Tim Burton got Pee Wee. He understood exactly what to do with him.
Yeah.
You know, so many of those, so much stuff in that movie is iconic. The basement in the Alamo, Francis Buxton, the bike.
He really did.
The part where he has the meeting, has everybody over to like collaborate on searching for the bike. That's one of my favorite scenes in cinema history.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it is definitely...
Large Marge, one of the most frightening scenes in a children's movie ever. You look at it now and it's a crazy, animated, weird, goofy face, but it was scary.
Yeah.
But anyway, that scene where they're looking for the bike and he's having the town hall and dude with the mohawk starts talking to the guy next to him. It's like, do you have something to share with the rest of us, Amazing Larry? That was that was just one of those early classics.
Oh, yeah. The timing, like you said, everything about it, it was...
And Elvira had a cameo in that one.
She did. They were like best friends, right?
Were they?
Yeah, they were best friends. In IRL, they were best friends. Because she had a pretty touching tribute on... What's the Twitter X competition app that's not... Mastodon? I don't know. It's one of the ones that... Yeah, anyway, she's on there, and she had a pretty touching tribute, and she had a lot of BTS photos of them together. I mean, he went back... So, 1977 with the Groundlings. I mean, that's a pretty beefy career.
That's where all the folks went, all the good folks.
Yeah, Groundlings in 77.
Phil Hartman and all the SNL folks went to that show.
Can you imagine like the Groundlings in 1977 compared to now? But Cheech and Chong, listen to this group of people that came out in his defense after his arrest, which again was completely blown out of proportion. But you know, it was a different time. It was a different time. But these people had his back. Cyndi Lauper, Annette Funicello, Zsa Zsa Gabor. Just those three alone.
He's innocent.
Yeah. But those three alone, can you imagine that those are the people that have your back, those legends?
Let him go. Let Pee Wee go.
Why didn't they? You think that we would have started kind of like the Free Britney thing, but Free Pee Wee? If
there was an internet, I think somebody would have started that.
Well, again, if there was an internet, we wouldn't even be talking about it because he would have just stayed home that night. He had no choice. That was 1991.
You had to buy a ticket and go to the theater.
And they turned that into a communal experience. You had no choice. What else are you going to do? You had VHS. You could have just stayed home.
Yeah, I suppose but I don't. He was not even at his house. He was at a friend's house.
Yeah.
So you don't want to do that at your friend's house.
Exactly.
Show up with this unmarked bag of tapes. So I'll be in the guest room for 5 hours. You don't want to do that. He was being polite.
He did the right thing. I can't believe that was like 1991. Huge wrestling fan. He had a lot of good appearances on Monday Night Raw.
He was on everything.
Yeah, he was.
Did he ever have a cereal?
He did. It was Pee Wee Chow. Pee Wee Chow. But I feel like he was made for merch. He was a merch machine.
I can't get over how awesome young Pee Wee is right here. Like, he looks badass.
Yeah. What is it? What looks so different about that? But you're right. There's a shine or something that he's got.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, on Spike TV in 2007's Guy Choice Awards. Remember Spike TV?
I do.
Man, TV, yeah. Reubens appeared on TV as Pee Wee Herman in character for the first time since 1992. That was his comeback.
Yeah.
I think he did give it a little bit of a break for a little while. But eventually the public forgiven him, and rightfully so. Like, again, he didn't really do anything wrong. I would be psyched to see a Pee Wee Herman doc. Like, to just see everything about the building of that character and everything he went through.
I think we'll get one. Apparently, he did write his memoirs before he passed. So we're getting a Pee Wee book. We're getting a posthumous Pee Wee book.
Oh, okay. I'm 100% going to read that. Because it's got to be difficult, you know. Think about, like, the whole changing jobs, and, you know, he got in this to be a comedian, right, or be a performer. And if something works so well, and you want to do other things, you got to go through a stage where that pretty much feels like a prison.
Yeah.
Right, that you can't escape it.
Yeah. To a certain extent, I imagine, but also that one thing you did keeps you working for the rest of your life. That's a pretty sweet gig.
That is not a bad thing to happen, right? So
Yeah.
you got to go through some love-hate relationships. And then I think at the end, and we see this at a lot of cons, I think everybody's eventually will forgive you, and then you just kind of appreciate it for what it was, and then you're just happy to be there. Oh, that was another one. Good point, Mike, that in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie, that original movie, the Luke Perry, and what was her name?
Yeah, where he's like doing fake dying.
Yeah, that vampire death. I think that's when he was trying to start breaking away of doing different characters.
Yeah.
Like, do you think it was a work? I mean, think about this. I mean, he's Pee Wee Herman. He's not Paul Reubens. Do you think you get to the point where it's just like, I hope I get arrested for, you know, indecent exposure and then I never have to do? You think it was self-sabotage?
I don't know. I think if that would have been the case, he'd have worn the suit. I think he just wanted to get out of the house for an afternoon. And Gremlins 2 was sold out. So he went to the other theater.
Oh man, did you watch the Saturday morning show?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it was so good.
Had Lawrence Fishburne and Blackula on it. I mean, it was a great cast.
Yeah. Like, how do you just... I just don't think you can discount the art of what he does, like, or what he did, because it's so like Tim Burton, and that's probably why Tim Burton got him. They had to kind of look at him and see a version of himself in there, that you're just kind of way out there.
The outcast.
Yeah, because a little bit of an outcast for sure. I just can't get over how much we look like AI today. Is it because we've been off the air for a couple of weeks? I feel like I don't know if Mike was just like, I don't know if we just look like AI. I feel like we're AI today. That would have been a good go home if we just somehow made ourselves fade away. Oh, but WWE did give him a Slammy Award. He won a Slammy Award for the guest star shining moment. I was trying to see what other awards and kind of recognition that he got besides the loving adoration of the public, because I think as time he aged like wine and people still just got him. He got 22 Emmy nominations for his show. In '85, he received a Harvard Lampoon Elmer Award for Lifetime Achievement in Comedy. He got his Hollywood Walk of Fame star in 1988.
He was in the Blues Brothers.
He was in the Blues Brothers, right?
Who does he play in the Blues Brothers? I'm just looking at his IMDb at the moment. It says
he was the waiter.
Oh, he was the waiter.
He was the waiter in
Yeah.
that. Oh yeah, he definitely should be in WWE Hall of Fame. I guess that's a slam dunk now.
He was in, man, he had a pretty prolific career.
He was a heavy smoker and went through great lengths never to be photographed with a cigarette in his mouth.
Oh, yeah.
He even refused to endorse candy bars and other kind of junk food while trying to develop his own sugar-free cereal, Pee Wee Chow. Although it never made it to market after failing a blind taste test.
Magic Spoon, where you at?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't you need a Pee Wee flavor?
Yeah, that was way behind the times.
Yeah.
I don't know like much about his personal life, and rightfully so. I shouldn't really have to know about his personal life, but it would be great to see if to somehow to honor him, to let the brand go on, and hopefully whatever family or whatever loved one that he had to somehow still, because I feel like he's still such a strong brand.
Pee Wee or Paul Reubens? Pee Wee, right?
Pee Wee, yeah.
Someone could take the Pee Wee moniker. I don't see that being a problem.
Pass it on like James Bond.
Yeah, sure. I think that's totally doable.
That would be cool. Oh my God, do you remember that show on HBO, Dream On?
Yeah.
He was on that.
Yeah. I mean, he had a pretty
Meep. Oh God, he was
career.
great. And remember Midnight Madness, 1980.
He was in Midnight Madness?
Yeah,
I don't remember
Pinball
that.
City proprietor. He was the proprietor of Pinball City. Man, that's cool.
Did a lot of voice acting late in his career. Lots of
Oh yeah,
cartoons.
Flight of the Navigator.
He was on Ally McBeal. He was in Dr. Dolittle.
Yeah, he did do the Nightmare Before Christmas. He was one of the voices in there. He's the Spleen. Mystery Men. That's another one that needs to be revisited. Yeah, he was the Spleen in that. Oh, he was in Ally McBeal too. That's a good run, man. So yeah, R.I.P. That was a big loss. I was just, what was more surprising, that did you know he was 71? Is it just because of his gimmick that he just seemed forever young?
I mean, he did seem forever young, but I mean, he had to be old.
Yeah.
Pee Wee's Big Adventure was like an 87.
Yeah, and starting with the Groundlings in 1977.
Yeah.
So I guess he just seemed forever
And that's
young.
the thing. It's usually when people make it, they don't make it till they're already old.
Especially back then.
Yeah.
Like there was no,
Folks had been paying their dues for a while.
there's no accidental discoveries back then.
How awesome would it be to wake up in 85 or 84 and you go to the Comedy Store in LA and you see the Pee Wee show?
Oh man, can you imagine?
I don't know what club he used to do it at, but that would have been an amazing thing to see.
Yeah, just like eventually when we become time travelers and we travel back, it would be great to go in some of those comedy clubs like that, like go to Dangerfields and just watch all these like legendary comedians like in a row that are like opening acts that you just take for granted. Like, because I feel like now everybody's trying it and we just don't get as many that break through, right? Does it feel like that? Now, I feel like it's a harder... Entertainment is harder to crack more than ever, even though you have more opportunities. But
Well, I mean, it's different. There's different stages of it now. If you can get over on TikTok and all of a sudden you're a TikTok celebrity.
and then nothing else matters.
Yeah.
Right. Like you're not really getting over.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just a viable thing though, because it's just like, sometimes I'll see stuff on TikTok that is like a short film. Like people go out there and make short films.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And they'll post them on TikTok, and they're super low quality, bad audio and everything. But it's about what I can remember folks making back when cameras were a thing, you know? But you have a place to put it. You put it directly on TikTok, and even if it's super low quality, it could still get millions of views.
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day, if you even finished a film, it was a big deal. They threw a party. You threw a party. We finished it.
Yeah.
And then you had no guarantee it was going to play anywhere, and it was even a hassle just to arrange for it to play somewhere.
Right.
Not like a film festival, but if you have to like get a venue and get a screen and all this stuff, it was tough.
It was really tough. Mike's right. Yeah. Talent matters less than money for sure. But think about even like the shorts, like back then, like how did we get to watch something like Hardware Wars?
I saw it on a tape.
Yeah. You were just like, it had to be like underground tape trading, right? Like, how did you first see Bambi versus Godzilla? I'm trying to think of
They came on the same tape.
It was on the same tape, right?
Yeah.
With Pork Lips Now.
I don't remember that one. But
You don't
yeah,
remember
probably.
Pork Lips Now? The Apocalypse Now?
Uh-uh.
Yeah. And Bambi meets Godzilla. There was 4. But you 100% relied on tapes or your friends saying, hey, have you heard of this? And then you get your hands on it.
Yeah.
Now you can make something fantastic that could just be lost at sea. So you have the ability to be distributed to more people than ever. But you could be a victim of what does the algorithm think you are.
Yeah.
Again, I was telling you earlier, like you can scroll through TikTok and you see all these people dancing, singing, doing all this stuff, trying to impress a robot. That's 2023. Like how? Like it. Like how? But it's strange because we're like, like what we're doing, like, and Mike's doing it. When you're trying to like create like a film or a short or trying to get something out of there. But a lot of times these are just regular people that like, I'm not even going to come up with the lines. I'm just going to have somebody else's voice and I'm going to just lip sync it and make funny faces when we do it. Oh man, this is like Pee Wee Playhouse. Someone's at the door. Yes, somebody's at the door.
All right, hold on.
Man, I hope it's got to be like a mailman.
Okay. Dude, I closed the gate to the studio. I don't know what happened.
Oh, man. Mecca Lecca Hi, Mecca Heiny Ho. We couldn't have planned that better. That was the king of cartoons just letting us know that thank you for remembering the legend that is Pee Wee Herman / Paul Reubens. So I was hoping for Captain Carl. But, dude, so again, it's been a busy couple of weeks. But, oh yeah, Mike, yeah, you're right. Pee Wee would be so divisive right now. Like, I don't even know if you could, like, how would you come up with a character like that?
Because we don't know if Pee Wee was, we don't know, like, who he dated, right? We don't know what his orientation was.
No?
It was always kind of a mystery.
Yeah.
Like, he liked Miss Yvonne, but he didn't like Dottie all that much. Which I guess I can understand.
She's a little clingy.
Yeah.
Dude, he protected his gimmick. Like, he protected his gimmick so well. Like Elvira, it's coming out now that, and it's a little more public, and she's been spotted with the her partner that she's been dating for a long time, and no one had any idea that she preferred females. Like, right? You had no idea. She protected the gimmick too.
Yeah.
She was a male sex symbol for the most part.
She's on Bud Light ads and Miller. Like you see the cutouts in the beer section of the grocery store back in the day.
Back in the day, when one of my in between not living in the car wrestling apartments, all I had in my bedroom was an air mattress, 4 TVs stacked, a Sega Genesis, and a blow up of Elvira.
A blow up?
A blow up from Elvira that I took from the gas station that I worked at for 3 weeks.
Why did you have 4 TVs?
Because that was no picture-in-picture. And the funny thing was, I just had one of the 4-way splitters, and it just played the same exact thing. So I used to play on Sega Genesis, Echo the Dolphin, and I would just play for hours, and it would be on all 4 TVs. And even though I only looked at one of the TVs.
I mean, I still get it. I still get it. I like to play multiple things here in the studio sometimes.
Yeah. I didn't think of that, but why didn't I watch different things? But I don't even think I had cable, so it would have just been whatever was playing over the air. And one of them was black and white, and I was like, oh, look at that. I got it working on a black and white TV.
That's pretty slick.
Yeah.
Pretty stylish.
But yeah, dude, what I was saying was it's just been so busy, and I was almost embarrassed to tell you that I've only been to the movies once in the past 3 weeks, and that movie was not Barbie. So I'm just watching this whole Barbenheimer thing kind of just like swirl around me.
You must be crawling out of your skin.
It's tough.
I'm probably one of the only people in the world that can empathize with what you're going through right now. And
It's tough.
It'd be extremely harsh.
It's tough when you have people that says, "Hey, wait for me to go see it," and then I stand by that. So, I guess in the battle of Barbenheimer, I guess for me, Oppenheimer won, because I did go see Oppenheimer, and even that, which it was a good movie, but so it's been sold out in IMAX for a while. But then you told me you don't really need to see it in IMAX, so I went to XD and watched it. And you're right. It was really only that one scene. The rest of it was just dialogue scenes.
Yeah.
Like so what other than the explosion of the test would you need to go see that in IMAX for?
Yeah.
Besides what we talked about is Florence Pugh naked. Because on the big screen, that was like, did that catch you off guard? And do we know if that was a body double or if she just went for it?
I have not heard anything about it, but I mean, she's pretty comfortable. Like, she's always naked on the red carpet.
Yeah. And did you see, and some of her scenes in Don't Worry, Darling kind of went out there.
Yeah.
So.
Here's the thing is like, you can't really review Oppenheimer by itself because it's part of Barbenheimer.
It is forever linked.
Yeah. And like, I think that, I saw it and, again, it was just like, it's weird. Here, I got to cut a promo on Christopher Nolan for a second.
Do it.
And it's just like you said. I don't understand. I'm all for film and maintaining film and as a format to show movies in. But it just seems weird to me to shoot this movie that's mostly dialogue in this crazy format that's hard to replicate and use.
Yeah.
And on every other screen, it looked weird. Like mine, I saw it at Alamo and it was cropped on the sides. You know, it had more of a boxy look. And that was strange to me. I was like, why don't you just shoot it to fill the screen?
Yeah.
You know? It's hard it's just tough for me to, as much as I want to support film and all that, it's tough for me to understand the logic there.
I didn't get it
Especially
either.
if there's not a lot going on. Like if it was a movie about ships and, you know, mountains and stuff, huge landscapes, that would be cool to see on a huge screen, but it's literally just guys talking.
Yeah. So he just wants to do IMAX from now on? Because that's how I took it.
I guess. It just, it seems a
Because
bit much.
it made sense for Dark Knight, right? That made sense.
There's a lot of action. There's huge cityscapes. It's a superhero movie.
I can see it in Interstellar. I can even see it in Inception.
Yeah.
I did not get it for Tenet necessarily, but we didn't see it in IMAX, and I definitely didn't get it for this.
Yeah.
I did jump when the bomb actually went off. Did you jump?
I did.
Did you expect that swerve? There was a little bit of a swerve there. Where there was a few swerves. But the big swerve was the way sound travels. Like you waited for the bomb to go, and then when it went, but the theater was completely quiet, and you had no idea when it was going to happen, and then when it happened, you jumped. Because of course you're like waiting, and it doesn't happen, and then you turn, and then all of a sudden, of course, as soon as you turn, that's when it's going to go, and it went.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Would have made much less money without the IMAX theater focus. Yeah, definitely. They definitely turned that into a gimmick, and it's part of it's part of the whole attraction, you know?
Yeah.
The IMAX here at the mall is still sold out every day. It's been sold out. You know, I haven't gone to see another showing of it yet.
I mean, I'm happy that people are interested in learning history for once. Like, I don't know how much liberties were taken with this history, but it can't be any worse than some of the other, history that's been changed.
Well, again,
and
it's
altered.
just the programming of it all. You've got one weekend where you've got two brand new properties opening. You know what I mean? These are not sequels. These are not established franchises or IPs of any kind. First time you're seeing a live action Barbie starring the most famous actress in the world as Barbie. And then you've got auteur director doing what's definitely going to be an Oscar movie about the guy who invented the atomic bomb. It's just the counter programming of it is what really made it an event.
Yeah, counter programming always works, and it certainly worked here because you were going to the theater and you were going to see one and the other. And I saw a ton of people in Oppenheimer with Barbie shirts on, so a lot of people were turning it into a double feature.
Yeah.
Did you double feature or you did different days?
Did different days.
Yeah, I did. Oh, hit Tom Cruise theaters. God, probably just.
Yeah. Well, there was too many movies. And here's the thing. It's like, we talked about this on the last show we did a few weeks ago. All the other movies sort of overlapped. You know, they all sort of ran into each other.
Yeah.
And had similar action sequences. And like, Indiana Jones had a train sequence. Mission Impossible had a train sequence, you know?
Yeah.
Fast 5 had, or Fast 10 had cars racing through ancient Rome, and then Mission Impossible had the same thing. You know, we've seen all that.
Yeah, very.
This was two brand new things, and like Chris Nolan does do a thing. He does have a gimmick, which I can appreciate, which he does dialogue as action. You know,
Yeah.
and it's all done with a heavy soundtrack, fast cutting, and it's good. He's definitely doing something special. I mean, I'm not gonna dog him. I think.
The format made it tougher to hear the dialogue.
Well, for some reason, he doesn't believe in wireless microphones or something.
Oh, really?
He just uses the boom. Like, he doesn't want to unnatural dialogue.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
So-
I had trouble. I was definitely reaching in my pocket trying to use my phone for closed captions.
Yeah.
It was tough to hear.
Parts of it are real tough to hear.
I kind of fell for it. There's somebody who realized it was a joke. I thought the post-credit scene was going to contain Einstein.
Yeah.
But no post-credit scenes on these gimmicks either. At all. So did you see Oppenheimer twice or just once?
I did. I've been wanting to see it again on the true IMAX screen. But it's also tough because Oppenheimer has the explosion and there's like another hour after that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
And it's a surprise hour tagged on. It's like, whoa, that flew by. It's like, oh, actually, we're only 2/3 of the way through.
Yeah, and I totally appreciate and understand. You know, we talked about it a little bit with the no Barbenheimer thing going on. How they didn't really approach or even try to touch on the actual bomb, the two that went off. Like, that was pretty. The way they did it is just like you kind of seen them drive off and you knew what was about to happen, and then you just heard them talking about it on the radio after. I think that would have been a really tough sell. Anywhere really, right? I mean, clearly in Japan it doesn't even have a release date, rightfully so.
Yeah.
But like, I think that would have been a tough sell.
Well, I mean,
anywhere.
they're just trying to keep it in Oppenheimer's perspective, you know?
Yeah.
The movie centers on his perspective, so it'd be weird to cut to the actual bombs away from him.
Yeah, because he had nothing to do.
It's more like just his reaction, because that's all they did. They took it away from him, and they did it.
Yeah.
It's like they raced to create this insanely powerful weapon, and the powers that be said, "Thank you, we'll take this. Thank you, we'll call you later."
Yeah.
And then he just hears on the radio they dropped them. He's like, "Oh, they actually dropped them. That's wild."
Yeah.
I thought I was just making them to have.
Just in case.
Yeah. As a deterrent. No, we're going to drop them.
And they did.
Yeah.
What do you so I think we're going to get a Barbenheimer sequel. It just hit me. The Barbenheimer sequel is going to be, although Hollywood may be completely dismantled by then, but if they got their act together, Barbenheimer sequel would actually be on Oscar night, because I think both of these movies are going to be making runs for awards, right? Easily.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I think Oppenheimer is a shoo-in for a ton of awards, but there's Barbie. They're talking about having at least half a dozen awards.
I think it's shooing for a ton of awards too.
Yeah.
All the technical awards, it'll get nominated for those, and probably some writing and directing awards.
So, I mean, again, and I'm not worried about spoilers, so we should talk about it a little bit. So, you got to answer me this. Is Ryan Reynolds' performance as Ken enough for an Oscar
You mean
nomination.
Ryan Gosling?
Yeah, that's what. Oh, I called Reynolds. Oh God, Ryan Gosling. Yes, is Ryan Gosling enough?
He's really good in it. I don't know about an Oscar. Maybe he'll get the Golden Globe because it's definitely a comedic take.
They said he stole the movie.
He's a big part of it. He's probably like a co-lead. You know, he's definitely a big part of the movie. But I wouldn't say he stole the movie. I don't feel that.
No?
I don't feel like he did. No, he's just a big part of the movie. And like, without the movie, sort of the way the movie structure works, it transitions to being a lot about him in the third act. So it kind of feels like he has a bigger part, but it's sort of like, I'm not going to spoil it for you because I think eventually you'll watch it, and it's definitely a fun movie to watch, and you'll probably come through. You'll be tired of hearing about Barbie, and you'll be watching it so completely over Barbie that you'll enjoy it.
Oh, nice.
But it's a big fun movie. You can just like right from the get go, you can just tell they're doing something. They're having a lot of fun with the character. This is something that's there's never been a Barbie movie. Nobody knows what the Barbie movie is, you know?
Yeah.
And that was what was so exciting about it, you know? That's making it a huge deal. But the world is drawn out. They make all the Barbie rules and it works. It makes sense. It's a fun to look at. You know, it's cool.
Can Margot Robbie now get? And she was already like you said, biggest star in the world. I feel like she's in everything. Can she? Where does she go from here?
She's Barbie now.
Yeah.
This is it. This is her breakthrough. All the other roles like fall away now. Now she's Barbie. It's settled. We'll have 3 more Barbies, and then whatever. I don't know. Then we'll recast it, I suppose.
I don't think you could have had any better cast. And I was on this show. I was pretty against booking her in the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I think that would have been a bad choice.
Yeah, I still do. I don't know if that's going to even be announced, but
Yeah. Ask me more Barbie questions. As the person, you're the only person in the world who hasn't seen the Barbie movie. How does it feel to be it's like you're the Omega Man.
what was so what were the other characters? Were they also like other versions of Barbie, or were they Barbie's friends? Because didn't Barbie have? I don't know. We always skipped the pink aisle, and I went right to the He-Man and wrestling figures.
Yeah. No, they're all Barbies.
They are all Barbies.
They're all called Barbie, and they're all Barbie. Margot Robbie is just one Barbie.
Okay, so
And they call her stereotypical Barbie.
Oh, really?
That's what they call her because she's just regular Barbie. She's not, she's not career Barbie or astronaut Barbie or anything like that. She's just regular Barbie.
And were everybody and all the gentlemen there were Kens?
They're all Kens.
They're
yeah.
all Kens.
Uh-huh.
So what is Barbie? I feel like I thought she had a friend named like Kenner or something. Did I just make that up? Didn't she have a Skipper?
Skipper, yeah.
Is there a Skipper in there?
Skipper's in the movie for a cameo, but
Okay.
there's a lot of other Barbies that they tried out that didn't get over. Like there was a pregnant Barbie, and then there was like a Barbie with inflatable boobs. Those are all in the movie, like all the reject Barbies. It feels like if somebody took Elf and Clueless and a bunch of confetti and glitter and threw it in the blender and turned it into a movie, that's kind of like what Barbie is.
So it had that elf vibe.
Yeah, it has big elf vibes, especially when they're at Barbie Land.
And I guess ironically, Elf was in the movie as well, right?
Yeah, and then we got Alan. Alan is in he's a big part of the movie. He's got a pretty big part.
Oh, Mike did not see it either. Yeah,
Oh.
so we're still.
I'm just gonna say it right here on the air in the internet. I've seen it 3 times.
You've seen it 3 times.
Yeah,
Man.
it's just a fun movie. It's got a good soundtrack. There's I think actually like the last time, it does the Lord of the Rings thing where it's got a lot of false finishes and it keeps ending and ending and ending. I think they could have shaved off about 5 minutes off the end, but for the most part, I think it's like a stone cold classic. It's gonna be on TNT every day.
They're just gonna let
It's
it.
going to be one of those movies that's going to run on TNT 24/7.
Does it feel like so? Is it forever going to be associated with summer movies?
I don't think so. It's
No.
just Barbie. Yeah.
Because it's probably gonna break the home market, right? Because they're probably going to let this ride. When do you think this gets a home release? Thanksgiving or Christmas? They're going to let it ride for a while.
They're going to let it ride. It's got no competition. So they're going to let it go for a little bit. Keep earning. Isn't it crazy? Like I was telling you the other day, Warner Brothers has the biggest hit and the biggest flop of the year.
At the same time.
Yeah.
That's unreal.
Back to back.
I don't know how long do you think they're already locked in for sequels? Because this busted, like they knew it was going to do good box office and just nobody expected.
Well, I mean, this is the first Mattel movie, so we don't even know. They do a thing in this movie, which I think is really smart. First off, shout out, Greta Gerwig does a great job directing this movie. And it's just like they let her like do whatever she wants. And this movie has parts where it gets real emotional out of nowhere. Doing nothing. Like just Barbie's just looking around. And the music changes and it gets really emotional. And you're like, what's happening to me? And it's just like you almost want to cry just at these like really emotional parts.
Really?
Yeah. And then it gets into wackiness or whatever. But like there's a lot of the movie dirt sheets, some of the red pill dirt sheets, they're angry about this movie's like anti-man, makes men look stupid,
That's what I was going to ask you too. I was really confused about that because you hear that, but then you also hear Ken steals the movie. That it turns out to it's almost like a Ken movie, like
there's a portion where it kind of becomes Ken's movie. But it makes sense within the story. But literally, there's just a part where it becomes Ken's movie, and he does 2 musical numbers back to back.
Really?
Yeah.
Mike says Lena Dunham to direct Polly Pocket.
Yeah, I know. And J.J. Abrams is doing Hot Wheels. But they basically what Greta Gerwig does is creates the Mattel universe, because it takes us into the Mattel building. And who works? Will Ferrell's the CEO of Mattel, and like it's very like Coen Brothers kind of a setup,
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's just like I need to take the elevator all the way to the top, and it buttons just says all the way to the top, and I've got it. You know what I mean? It's
got kind of fourth wall breaking a little bit, or
I don't know about fourth wall
kayfabe?
breaking. It's just it's a kayfabe Mattel office, so you could see in the future all kinds of other characters running around that office. You know what I mean?
He-Man's Mattel, right?
He-Man is Mattel. Uno is Mattel. Apparently, want to make an Uno movie. I don't know how that would work. You can't just make a movie out of every toy.
Well, they're going to try now.
I guess. But, I mean, it's a really good movie. I think you're going to enjoy it whenever you get to see it. It really swings for the fences, and it does get a little... there is a little bit too much of it at the very end. You're just like, shave a little bit off... Get us there faster. And it ends on a huge mic drop, which upset a lot of people.
I can tell you, man. Yeah, you can tell it had its detractors for sure, but
you know what the mic drop is?
No.
You don't know what the mic drop is?
Mm-mm. But I mean,
I'm not going to spoil it for you. But it just ends on a mic drop that's just not like an important mic drop, It's just, it's a choice, and it's crazy to I don't think most directors could even get away with that.
Really?
To ending it the way it did,
Well, she's going to be able to do whatever she wants on the sequel now.
It's a comedy line, I'll tell you that. It's a joke.
It is.
But it's just one of those jokes is just like, what? And it cut to black.
And that was...
Yeah.
I mean, I do. The curiosity in me is, it's been burning me up, because I went like literally from the airport, got a little bit of rest, really early flight, had the opportunity. All the Barbies were sold out and Oppenheimer was not. But then I walked into the theater and there was a huge line, and the line was just for people to take pictures inside the life-size Barbie box.
Yeah.
Like it was like a roller coaster line. It was unreal. And it wasn't just sound like Anakin, and not just the men, but the women and the children. Like everybody was taking pictures inside the life-size Barbie box.
Yeah.
This is like a phenomenon.
Again, I have not seen this much hype around this type of movie since Batman '89.
Yeah.
But again, this is the first time we're seeing this. They've never done a Barbie movie. Barbie's never said a word. There's never been anything. So this is new. This is something that's universal. It's everybody knows what a Barbie is, has seen a Barbie, has interacted with a Barbie in some way, whether we just kicked it out of the way. You know?
Exactly.
Everybody knows what Barbie is, and then we're going to get the movie, which is just and then the movie comes out, and it's not like it's not the first thing you would think of when you think of a Barbie movie, you know, but it takes like the elements you expect and uses them for a little while, and then it's like no wait, but let's just get weird with it, you know. But really, and it's a fun, stylishly done. It's well paced, except for the end, which could lose 5 minutes, which I've mentioned.
So
I don't know. Ask me more Barbie questions.
So this thing's gonna be. It's gonna cross $1 billion
this week.
This week, right?
Yeah.
How much more money can this make? Like, this is definitely gonna be like in the top 3 domestic earners. You think?
I think it's gonna be the top movie of the year for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a lock.
I don't think anything is gonna beat it.
No.
It's got legs. There's no other movies coming out after.
It's got no competition for like weeks. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't even think you can technically count Ninja Turtles as competition. It's an animated show. I don't think.
Yeah, it's a reboot that's not over yet.
Yeah.
So, it's got a lot of room to keep going. And if Warner Brothers wanted to get wacky with it, they could release another cut, deleted scene, do one of those special cuts.
Yeah.
Barbie with extras. They marketed this movie perfectly, and that's what a summer movie is. It's a high concept thing we've never seen, and really good marketing come together. Because like I've always said about the Netflix movies, the reason those movies you don't really care to see them because nobody told you should see them.
Yeah.
Without the build up and the ads and the anticipation, it's nothing. It's just whatever. It's just a TV movie.
Man, trailers are so important.
Trailers are important.
Trailers are so important. So it's on, like you said, it's 381 million domestic now, 811. It's going to be the #1 movie of the year for sure. Where do they go if they really have a franchise here?
I mean,
can they turn it into a Barbie trilogy?
well, I think the franchise is going to be the Mattel universe.
The Mattel universe, so not necessarily
all the toys cross over to whatever, you know.
Yeah,
and help each other out. And that's the goal right there. They've talked about a Ken movie. I don't know if a Ken movie works without Barbie in it. I don't know that works.
No, I think they're a package deal, right? It feels like it. I don't.
And like I said, he's definitely the breakout character of the movie, but I don't see how he could do his own movie.
No, I
don't see it.
Ken Dark spinoff.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, I don't know, man. Like
it starts off with this really the soundtrack the movie starts with, because you know, you've the part that's in the trailer is the opening scene, which is that 2001 Gimmick.
Oh yeah,
Stanley Kubrick. There's a lot of Stanley Kubrick references in this movie. But when the movie actually kicks off, there's this soundtrack that reminds you of like a 90s really broad comedy that was about women doing stuff, you know what I mean? And it kicks in, and I don't know, it reminded me of like Big Business with Bette Midler.
I remember that.
I just pictured that going on, but I don't know. It's hard to describe it without you seeing it, but it's like it kicks off and you immediately get the feeling. It's like, oh, I know what I'm supposed to feel here. That's cool. I recognize this. And then the sets are cool and the art direction is super cool. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
What was I going to say? So I lost my screen here. Do you, when this movie, is there any truth to any kind of, there was an agenda with this movie, like being anti-man? Do you think that anyone set out for that?
No, I think that it's not at all. Like, everything. Here's the thing. It's like it's hard. This is my interpretation of the movie, and I think it's pretty clear. It's like this. Barbies don't operate on their own, right? Barbies are kids' toys. And everything that happens in the movie is almost the interpretation of a kid. Barbie acts like the kid would make them act. Ken acts like the kid would make them act. So everything is just ridiculous, you know?
Oh, wow. I never really thought of that.
So there's a part in the movie where this is not a huge spoiler, whatever. Sort of like Ken creates his fantasy dream house, like Barbie has her dream house, and he creates his dream house, and it's all over the top. They've got like the barn doors on the hallway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's got like the pull-up bar in there in the middle of the house. You know what I mean? So it's all these guy things or whatever, and it's just like a kid's version of what that would be. You know? He like wears a fur coat for a long time.
Did they allude to that at all, or is that kind of like your perspective of things? Like,
That's my perspective of it.
They didn't show like there were some kids like kind of forcing them to act this out.
Well, yeah, that's part of the movie as well, but it's not forcing them to act them out, but they are connected to the people that play with them.
Got it.
One of which is America Ferrera.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's really good in the movie. I'm glad she's back.
Any huge cameos?
Cameos?
Yeah.
Not really.
No.
I can't think of any. John Cena's in there. Dua Lipa's in there, but she's on the soundtrack as well.
Yeah. I think, the John Cena stuff kind of leaked out too, like his picture.
Yeah.
Leaked out.
He doesn't do much. He just says, "Hi, Barbie."
When you said that they kind of broke the fourth wall and walked around in the Mattel building, were there any toy cameos? You said they showed Uno, or is that just...
No, they didn't show Uno, but I'm just saying I could see there being other toys running around that building.
Oh, I got you.
The way they set it up, it's kind of a wacky office. Of course, Mattel has a wacky office where toys come to life. I thought Will Ferrell was a good choice for the CEO, but it felt like he was ad-libbing the whole time, which I sometimes I don't think is the best choice.
Yeah.
I might have written him some lines, but he's still good in the movie. He's exactly what the part would be. I don't know how to cast it better. It would have been him or John C. Reilly. One or the other would have to be.
They fight for roles now.
Yeah, exactly. They get cast in the same thing. There's like when they go in the real world. This is what's awesome about this movie is like the format of a movie a typical movie that would be this. It's like they're in Barbie Land. Then they have to go to the real world, and most of the adventure happens in the real world, and then they go just back to Barbie Land for the very end, right?
Yep.
It doesn't do that. Like they go they go back to Barbie Land pretty early, and then the rest of the movie takes place there. And again, there's like almost like the last 30 minutes turns into a whole other movie. It's weird. It's hard to describe, but they're in Barbie Land a lot, and there's heists, there's musical numbers, and I'm not kidding when I say Ryan Gosling does 2 musical numbers back to back. It's a bold choice. Yeah. You'll be listening to Matchbox 20 after the movie.
Oh yeah, and I haven't even checked the Spotify. Is there a song on there that's going to be dominating the airwaves for the rest of the summer?
Matchbox 20, Push. And then the I'm Just Ken song is really good. That'll probably get an Oscar.
Oh, Mike's got some here. American Girl Doll, Barney, Magic. Oh, these all, Masters of the Universe. Oh, Rock'em Sock'em Robots, I think it was already kind of announced.
Wishbone, Uno. I don't know how you do an Uno movie, but apparently they want to, so more power to them.
I want Thomas and Friends as a horror movie. Summer Bops, early 2Ks. Yeah, and you said, what's his name? J.J. Abrams is doing Hot Wheels, right?
He's booked for Hot Wheels. Who knows what that's going to be? But
do they tie these together now? Do they have their Avengers initiative?
I think that's what they want to do is eventually have the overlap. Create the MCU, if you will. The Mattel Cinematic Universe.
And I think you really have no choice. I think the expectation is going to be super high. man, the sequel to this is going to be really tough because they still are going to want to do a sequel to this. There's no way they're not going to want to do a sequel to this. They're just going to let this run. This is going to make over $1 billion, so you know what's coming. But like, is there a natural story in there that you can see that you're like, okay, this is where they should go?
No.
No.
I don't think so. Like I don't know. Again, it just ends on such a mic drop that we're just like, what? It's just, yeah, and I think that's fine. That's smart booking if you're a writer, director. You want to make something that stands on its own. But they didn't, other than maybe giving Ken a segue to do his own movie. That's one thing. But they even talk about the Ken movie in this movie, which is funny.
They do?
Yeah. Like it's already in this movie, the Ken movie's already in production. Within this movie.
Oh man. But it's pretty incredible for these two movies to be so different. And like you said, what was the one you said that they're trying to do? Like they're now trying to ship these movies together.
Saw Patrol. Paw Patrol and Saw come out on the same day, so if you want to go and see them both for a double feature,
as a double feature,
part of the Saw Patrol.
I mean, there's part of me that kind of like, for the theater owners, I love this gimmick, and I feel like whatever gets people, we're pro theater, so whatever gets people to theaters and to see a double feature. I mean, we've done double features all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for it, and then just to come up with these two different studios that turned it into a Cola Wars gimmick where both sides win. I mean, it was fun to see. I mean, I haven't even seen the other movie, but it was fun to see.
Yeah.
It was cool to hear that people were staying for like double features.
Yeah, and like people are still dressing up.
Yeah.
People are still dressing up on a Tuesday night to go see Barbie.
Yeah, it's not just like a weekend thing, but I think it's going to continue like this. I haven't seen this many women galvanized together for a movie since Titanic. But what's different about this movie is just like you have the women are doing it, but this is not just for women, at least from my perspective. I mean, I think there's a small group that says it is, but I do feel like that anybody can go in there this movie and enjoy it. We talked about that on here, like musicals and these types of movies are you find some enjoyment whether you want to admit it or not.
Yeah, I mean Barbie, even though it's a girl's toy, but it's a globally known thing. Everybody from every country in the world knows what a Barbie is.
Yeah.
If you see a random doll, you call it a Barbie.
Yeah, that is true. They were what's the word for it? They became they like Q-tip, or I forgot.
Cheerios.
Yes, Cheerios, or if you're in Texas, every soda's a Coke.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a Barbie. But yeah, Mike, congratulations, Hollywood, you discovered the matinee. But you said the last movie for the summer, and could be the last movie for a long time that's going to have this kind of hype, because we can talk about that after the break. It doesn't seem like the strike has any signs of slowing down at all, right? So yeah, if we want to take a quick break, and we can talk about that.
I bet you think my favorite bubbly is champagne. Well, surprise. What I really love is Sun Country Wine Cooler. It's a truly marvelous blend of real fruit juice and premium wine. As a matter of fact, it's the best tasting cooler I've ever had. So when they asked me to talk about Sun Country, naturally I accepted. Sun Country, say, gimme the real juice cooler. They told me I'd be working in fur, but this is ridiculous.
Wang announces the most important step in managing information since the computer, WangNet. WangNet is the electronic connection that gives anyone in your office any kind of information they need instantly by linking together every conceivable kind of office equipment, no matter who makes it. WangNet links you to floors below or satellites above, using just half its capacity, leaving room, of course, for Wang's next breakthrough in office automation.
I am here to make a pitch for Sun Country Peach. Why me? Because I'm crazy about the taste of peach. And Sun Country Wine Cooler is the most refreshing blend of premium wine and real peach juice I ever pitched. It has such a great taste. It's how you say it? Peachy, peachy. Sun Country. Say, give me the real juice cooler. You know, I don't mind doing cuchi in a bear suit, but it's so itchy. Caramba, me está matando tantas hormigas dentro de los pantalones.
Let's buy our small computer from the giant computer company. You can't beat Goliath.
No. Right, David?
Sir, let's go with Wang. Nobody makes a better small computer or word processor. They're giant killers.
It happened before. It can happen again, because nobody's hungrier than Wang.
He's right.
I used to be frightened by all the wine coolers I saw. I was scared I wouldn't pick the right one. Luckily, I did. It was the most refreshing one of them all, Sun Country Wine Cooler. You see, Sun Country is a blend of premium white wine and real fruit juice. That's what gives it its great taste. Sun Country, say, give me the real juice cooler. If you don't say Sun Country, you'd better sleep with your lights on.
All over the world, Wang is a leader in office technology. Word processing, data processing, and now with our new electronic mail system, you can send all kinds of information from one part of the world to another. So New York can be around the corner from Paris, London from Tokyo, and San Francisco next to Rome. Wang, making the world more productive by bringing it closer together.
This is the tale of the Sun Country Kid. Rode into town on a horse he called Sid. Bought Sun Country wine coolers for one and all. Said, drinks are on me. Go on, have a ball. Sun Country's made from juice that's all real and premium wine for refreshing appeal. One sip and you'll know my story is true. Because when has this bear ever lied to you? Sun Country, say give me the real juice cooler. So ask for Sun Country. It's fun, never stuffy. And you can take that from a bear named Duffy.
On all new releases at Rogers Video.
I don't know if you were watching the latest, like Fat Man and Beyond, but Kevin Smith. That was a little bit.
Is it tonight?
It is tonight, the newest one, but the one was right before Barbie that he was just talking about as theater owners, how much they were relying on this Barbenheimer thing to kind of save their business.
Dude, here's what I don't understand. Well, I guess I do understand it, but studios are killing movies.
Yeah.
The makers of movies are killing them.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
I thought about this the other day. When's the last? Nobody will rent a movie anymore.
No, it's too risky.
If you tell someone, let's rent a movie, at least most people that I interact with, they'll look at me like I'm insane. It's like, no, it'll be on Netflix eventually. It's like, yeah, but you want to watch it now? It's like $5. No one will do it.
Why is it so hard to risk now?
I think like that whole $20 premium level can probably bounce, but like renting a movie, no one will do that now. People will just wait. So now they've killed that revenue stream. They've killed buying physical media. No one will do that. Now they're killing the movie theater experience. People still want to go. That's what I'm saying. Like Barbenheimer shows, people want to go to the movies. They want it to be an event. People were in AMC when Nicole Kidman comes out and does that speech. You know that you don't go to AMC, right?
Yeah, but I know what you're talking about.
She comes out and does this whole speech about the movies make us enjoy life. The movies are everything.
Yeah.
and people were like reciting the lines with her.
Really?
Yeah. People were so into it. And like they did like they did the like for the little Dolby logo, the little Dolby Atmos logo that comes out, they did it all like Barbie. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Make it an event. Yeah, and like you said, with the photo booth and all that stuff, people still want to go. People want to feel like there's a reason to go, and the studios keep giving them reason not to go. Don't go to the. We don't need to run ads for a movie. It'll just come out.
Yeah.
And you don't have to buy a ticket. You just pay us $20 a month, and you get all whatever BS we make.
Yeah.
And every Friday. Here's a new Jamie Foxx movie.
I told you the other day I saw, like, when did they have a Jackie Chan, John Cena movie? And how did I not hear about this?
It should be a bigger deal.
It should be a huge deal.
Like if they had made that in the late 90s in Hong Kong, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would have been huge.
Yeah.
Now it's just a throwaway.
Like, how was a John Cena, Jackie Chan movie a throwaway?
It just is.
I mean, I remember how excited people were to see Rush Hour when that was just seeing the trailers for that. How psyched people were for that. So I was just blown away that it was just a throwaway movie, because you're right. Have you ever had an emotional experience watching a film on Netflix?
Not a one time.
Not a single time.
Well, just like when they have an old movie on there and you watch that. Netflix is I don't think they're really known for their films. They make documentaries and things like that, series. But really, it's just a film has to go to the theater.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It just has to.
I agree.
Everything else is a TV movie.
I'm okay with these streaming services being like, even if you're stretching it out in TV shows, but I still need to go to the movies to feel something, whether you're crying or laughing. I have those experiences at the movies all the time.
Yeah, and laughing with a room full of people
makes a big difference.
It makes a huge difference.
It makes a big difference. I love seeing horror movies and comedies with a group of people, a group of strangers even, just to have that shared communal experience.
Yeah.
That you really don't have. But you are right about, and I think I'm even guilty of it sometimes, that I don't roll the dice when I used to. I remember walking out of like the video store with like 4 or 5 movies.
Yeah, and you had to watch them in 2 days.
Yeah. It's like, you
had to make it a point.
You were rolling the dice back then, but if it's over $10, I won't roll the dice on a rental at home.
Yeah.
Why is that? Like when you said that, it just hit me that they trained me on that too.
They trained you not to do that.
Yeah. Like, I'll buy it because at least you can say, okay, like, I bought a movie.
Yeah.
I think it was the Mutants, and I never even watched it yet. It was like one the Fox last I was like, okay, I'll buy it. I didn't rent it and have to watch it. It didn't force me to watch it. I bought it. And I still haven't watched it, and it's been years.
Yeah, I have several movies in my purchase Amazon queue that I have not watched.
But I felt better about buying it than I did renting it.
Right.
Like having it. So I don't know, man. But
I bought The Blackening, and I arranged multiple screenings of it. I showed it for Lucha Lati. I showed it at my parents' house. Just make sure and get the most juice out of it. But
I enjoyed that in the theater, and I don't know if I would have enjoyed it as much at home.
Yeah, it's definitely better in the theater.
Yeah, movies are better in the theater.
Yeah, they are.
There's something about seeing it on the bigger screen. I know Cinemark does that too. The way movies are meant to be seen. Like, I think I would have been really underwhelmed by Oppenheimer as if the first time I saw that was at home.
Yeah.
I'd be like you said, it's like, this is just a bunch of talking.
Yeah.
But it's been a pretty tough summer for films. Barbie came in and saved the day.
Not only have they, and you gotta look get deep into the in between the lines here, you know, like we've all been trained now to wait for stuff to hit streaming. We don't rent.
Mm-mm.
We don't go to the theater. Okay. And we can say that this is a direct result of how streaming evolved, you know?
Yeah.
But it's evolved. In its evolvement, it's sort of like evolution, it's sort of eliminated the other avenues that people used to watch movies on, right? So now, think about this. If there's a movie you really want to see, isn't it, and support, you have to see it in the theater.
Yeah.
Because once it hits streaming, the creators are not going to receive the benefits from it.
Yeah, those days are over.
That's where they're on strike, you know?
And I am one of the few people, that I have no problems going to the theater and spending money. And if somebody's like, "Oh, I have a stick, or I have a way you can watch that. I got a streaming site." I don't do it. I don't think that's the way I want to experience a movie for the first time. Right?
I mean, I did enjoy for a while. I did enjoy the day and date releases. That was fun.
Yeah.
It was a fun gimmick while it lasted, but let's go ahead and take it back. Take it all back.
Yeah, take it all. I agree.
Nobody's gonna care.
No,
Nobody's
was just
gonna care
like
if you take it back.
we got in. We were allowed in the candy store for an all-you-can-eat thing.
Yeah,
and now it's over.
Yeah,
now it's like, okay, now you got to.
And
start
that's okay. That's okay. Just go ahead and take it back, because most people aren't gonna even notice or care.
Yeah,
because nobody rents movies anyway. So what's the difference?
Right.
So what is the difference? Nobody's buying DVDs. So what's the difference? Just take it all back.
Their people aren't even necessarily buying these services. Like, I'm going to wait for it to come on streaming, but they're with the password sharing. Like, even the streamers aren't making as much money as they could be making.
Right, and folks have also been trained to know to get the service for a month and have your whatever your little service that cuts it off in a month. To make sure you don't get charged.
Man,
everybody's trained on it. And that's why Barbenheimer was so special. I'm going to get a shirt made, or so. There's shirts out there.
There is.
There just hasn't been an event like that. Like Avengers Endgame was a huge event because they booked a great cliffhanger, and it was built on 10, 20 years of movies.
In the make, yeah.
And this was the build up, and this was the blow off match, and it was great.
Yeah.
This was just in a summer that has been packed with sequels. Everything has been a sequel. The movies that have gotten the most traction have been it's hard. No property's really original because they're all IP based, but the first iterations of them. Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
The Spider-Verse, this is the first sequel, and it got over huge.
Yep.
Barbie, nobody's ever seen Barbie. The new Chris Nolan movie,
Yeah.
You know what's back? Here's what's back, and I think we're just going in cycles here. Directors are back.
Yeah.
Directors matter. And
Directors
Marvel got everybody away from having to hire a good director. It's like, we'll just they hired a lot. I mean, they're all good directors, but they hired a lot of indie folks who just got their start, And
that's kind of blowing up in their face right now.
At the moment it is.
Yeah.
And towards the end they tried to book Sam Raimi and stuff. But that's what they've been doing. And now it's like you've got Barbie is very much a director-driven movie. Oppenheimer, absolutely that.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I think that they're going to have to lean into that. If you want to make your movie an event, make your director an event.
Yeah. Yeah.
It has to matter.
We talked about that. He's the king of that, right? You go to see the Quentin Tarantino. He has his...
I'm bummed they're going to delay the shooting of that now.
Oh, is it? Because it's yeah.
It's delayed because everything's delayed.
Ugh. Yeah, that hurts. So I was looking at there was just a ton of movies that like there's a high right now. But remember before Barbie went to the theater, how low everybody was feeling on the theatrical experience. Like the swinging and the missing was just so much. Guardians was kind of it, right? Guardians.
Well, Spider-Man was the biggest. It's Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, those ones that hit. But I mean, I feel like the ones that were expected to hit, not all of them hit.
Well, it was mostly old IPs and sequels and stuff. That's what I'm saying. These are original films. That's why people got excited about them.
Yeah.
Almost everything else is a sequel. Fast and Furious 10, Indy 7.
Yeah, they all.
Mission Impossible 8. That's what's wearing people out.
Yeah. Man, there was a short that was floating around of Christopher Reeve talking about sequelitis.
Yeah.
And it was and this was from 1988. and he called it out, and it was Superman 4. He was calling it out for. Like I said, Oppenheimer, to me, kind of feels like Nolan's movie about ushering the current state of superhero movies by inventing the Dark Knight.
I like that take.
Yeah, that's a good take.
I like that take because, I mean, the Dark Knight definitely opened it up. When was Dark Knight before Iron Man or after Iron Man?
Before, I believe.
Or the same year? No, before?
Or either before or same year.
I don't know. But it definitely was the first time a superhero movie was... That was the first one to get nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Man.
That's deep. That's a good take right there. Because he did do that. And now everything is superhero. Well, not everything, but it's just a huge genre that is there. So much so that the folks in charge don't want to take any kind of chances. So instead of taking $200 million and making 4 $50 million movies, they're taking $200 million and spending an extra $150 to make one movie.
Just to make one movie, yeah. It makes no sense. These remember how, and I love this show, Project Greenlight. Remember?
I just watched the new one.
Did you?
Yeah.
There was a new one?
There's a new one on Max.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to watch that.
It's pretty good.
The last season I saw was Feast, right? With Gulager. When his son won. But anyway, I remembered, I think it was season 2, and the whole thing was they were making such a big deal. They're like, you know what? You should try to get this at least on 10 screens. And like, no, it's not going to be good enough. And it was such a big deal to try to get your film in the theaters. And it's for a lot of people, it's not that anymore. I sent you that video of Mel Brooks talking about that. He's like, content, whatever that is.
Yeah.
But like, there's a few movies like I'm trying to catch up on The Witcher, and it popped up, and they're trying to get these trailers to auto roll now. But there's a movie on Netflix called They Cloned Tyrone. Did you see that?
I watched that, yeah.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Is it? But like, how would that have done in theaters, even with a small release?
I think you could have cut a really good trailer for that. It's catchy. I liked it. It's a stylish version of like. Here's the thing. That's funny because you bring up Project Greenlight, which is a low budget movie. I tried to watch the newest Project Greenlight movie right after the series, and the movie sucks. The series is fun to watch, but the movie sucks.
Yeah. That's their tradition, though.
Yeah, and you're just like, why would you even bother making this movie? Like, you only make this movie to make a reality show about it. That's the only reason to do that. But They Clone Tyrone is also super low budget, and you can see that it's low budget, but it's got bigger names in it. It's got Jamie Foxx, dude from Attack the Block, John Boyega.
Yep, John Boyega.
Tiana Paris from the Marvels. It's got big names in it. And it's done in just a very stylish way. And they put like it's funny because they put a really crappy color grade on it and it looks like a home video or something.
Yeah, that's what actually caught my eye.
But the movie itself is pretty good. Like it's well done for a low budget movie. That is special. But it's just like, now it just dies on Netflix. It just sits there. Like,
yeah, I haven't even gotten a chance to go back and watch it.
Like, how can you even get excited about it? What are you going to do with that?
No, I'm gonna end up forgetting and say I forgot all about that movie.
Then it just goes to the stacks and nobody ever touches it.
Yeah,
you know.
Like my only regret this summer so far is I didn't go see The Machine in the theaters. And The Machine, granted, it could be argued that it was probably made, 5 years too late, with Bert Kreischer, but like it was a small independent movie that got a theatrical run, and we didn't go see it.
Yeah,
and it kind of bummed me out because. What is the number one viral movie that pops in your head when it comes to a movie that was so good and it was streaming only? Like, what was the streaming movie phenomenon?
Streaming movie only?
Yeah, like what movie that was streaming only, like, oh my God, that's like in my top 10 or my top 20, or it's a movie that everybody's talking about.
I can't think of one.
Can't even think of one, right?
Nope.
It's tough. Like, we know Extraction, but I haven't seen it. But I mean,
no desire to see it. I don't care.
But the sequel, I think the only one that almost crossed over, and I think it's because who was acting in it, was Bird Box. Bird Box with Sandra Bullock. Mm-hmm. That was Netflix only. And I think that only worked because everybody still loves Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
But like, what would Bird Box have done in theaters?
I think it'd have done well.
I think it would have done really well.
Yeah.
I think that had a lot to do with Sandra Bullock, but Netflix doesn't care about this. And again, they're going to shoot themselves in the foot. It's a quote Obi-Wan from The Phantom Menace. It's a symbiote, right? We're in a symbionts that like one needs the other to survive in a sense. I think Netflix should go out of their way, like they rumored to do it, to buy a string of theaters and release their same movies. And like, hey, these movies are really special enough that we think you should go see it in theaters like they did with Glass Onion.
Yeah.
You can go see it in theaters for 20 days before you can see it at Netflix at home. Most of the people are going to say, I'm going to wait to see it at home. But there's going to be people like you and I that are going to go see it because we want to see it in the theaters.
Well, if they're better, the movies need to get better.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of... Mike brings up The Irishman, and I think The Irishman is fine, but I think...
Oh, yeah, The Irishman. That was the other one.
I still think that Netflix provides... They have an amount of quality control that's not sufficient.
Yeah.
And even somebody like Martin Scorsese gets to run amok there, and it's just like, no, you need somebody there just giving notes. I think somebody's got to give notes.
Yeah.
If you let them just do whatever they want, it's just not going to be... And I think The Irishman is... The Irishman's got a little... It's not one of his best movies, I would say.
Yeah.
So, I think for a movie for you to really want to see it on home video or streaming, it has to have a theatrical one, so you've heard of it.
Yeah, that helps.
Like even like when like really bad theatrical releases hit HBO, you're just like, oh, it's that movie from the theater. I think I'll give it a shot.
You'll give it a shot. Yeah.
But if it's just like they clone Tyrone, which is a great movie, but I've heard nothing about it. Know nothing about it. I've never even seen a trailer or heard a blurb or seen an interview or nothing.
I mean, I only worked on there. Yeah, the banner popped up, and that's how I saw it.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. It's just unfortunate that it's a Netflix movie.
So Anthony says, so decentralizing entertainment allows for greater variety to be achieved by the fans.
I mean, if these movies are on Netflix and they're getting
clicks,
they're getting produced independently, right?
Yeah.
So why don't they go to festivals or something? Do something with it.
Oh man, I'd love a Netflix festival.
Or just play at a film festival. Let them get some notoriety and some reviews going. Some reason to want to see this.
I think Apple, ironically, is the one that probably has the most quality control. Because I gotta say, Tetris was probably my favorite streaming movie in a long time.
I saw the BlackBerry movie. They did that one, right?
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
Yeah, so I can see if I would have went into the theater and saw Tetris, I think it would have been okay. But then it makes no sense. So then you have these movies that do really well, but then Hypnotic, I didn't even know it was coming out. I would have gave that a shot.
Brought to you by Ketchup Entertainment.
That's right. I had no idea.
This is a Ben Affleck, Robert Rodriguez movie.
Yeah.
How does this not get any push?
And a sci-fi angle to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't get it. What about, Hypnotica? What about Netflix to help theaters purchasing time before these films and tacking on their trailers? Now, when you're done with this movie at home, watch this at Netflix.
I think part of what needs to change at Netflix is the quality control on the films.
Yeah.
Because at this point, it incentivizes them. There's no incentive for them to make a good movie. There's no reason to. They don't care. It doesn't matter.
No.
All they need is the name attached to it. This is Michael Bay's race car movie. And here's the money to do it. That's it. That's all that's all you need to deliver. Michael Bay race car movie with Ryan Reynolds and whoever, and that's it. Because they don't care about people liking it and going to see it again. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. None of it matters at all. All they care about is that you watched it one time or attempted to watch it when the ad popped up on your Netflix thing.
And and we don't know what the value is out of that.
Look at people are going. I've seen Barbie 3 times, and I'm sure there's people that have been to see it way more than me already at this point.
Oh yeah, no, it's getting those Titanic.
There's something to be said for just wanting to see a movie again, having no option other than to go to the theater, right?
Yeah.
And then your second option is to rent it, and that's gone.
Yeah, you absolutely can't. I think Barbie. So the number one domestic of all time, Star Wars, 936 million. Endgame, 858. No, Spider-Man, No Way Home, 814. I think Barbie beats Avatar and becomes the number 4 domestic movie of all time, which used to be the high bar, right? Nobody was.
How much does Avatar have?
785 million domestic.
Domestic? Well, it's got a way to go. We'll see, but it's definitely got some room to go.
Yeah. But those repeat viewings, remember how Titanic got just driven up by those repeat viewings?
Yeah.
What's going to stop people from watching Barbie over and over again until October safely? Like, right, the spooky season might be where it starts to slow down. But I think it's going to win this weekend for sure. It's going to win its third weekend.
You don't think Turtles will pull it off?
Mm-mm.
Or the Meg?
No. Meg's limited, so Meg has no chance. But I think Turtles will sit comfortably. Turtles might beat Oppenheimer. But I think this phenomenon, I think we got another week of it.
I think Oppenheimer's going to keep going. People seem to really like it.
Yeah. Well, we see it. It's sold out.
Sold out still.
But we still can't see it. And I did read that they are going to extend its IMAX run. Which is
really?
Yeah, so that's just going to run.
Yeah, well, it's packing the theaters.
Yeah.
Mike's right. I mean, the IMAX gimmick really adds a lot. But yeah, I mean, no heat with Christopher Nolan for doing that. I get it.
Yeah.
I want my movies to fill the screen. That's all I ask. Is that too much to ask?
It just drives me crazy.
I just want the movie to fill the screen. And I heard some stories because I think it confused a lot of people or projectionists. You know what I mean? And this one dude was complaining that not only did it not fill the screen, but it was a square in the middle of the screen that had a letterbox in the middle of the square.
Oh, I've seen that before.
Can you imagine that?
Oh, how frustrating that would be.
I would burn the place to the ground.
The patron saint of our show, Gigi Saul, she was in one of the IMAX screenings that broke. That the projector, like you said, a lot of the projectionists don't even know how to run the shows.
Was she in San Antonio?
She might. Oh, you're right. She might have been there. Because that's the one that's IMAX and 70 millimeter, right? Is that what takes it to fill out the screen? It has to be 70 millimeter?
It is legit 70 millimeter. And it's crazy because I'm from there and I've never been to that theater. But apparently it's like a legit IMAX size and it has the film projection.
That's what we need. It just drives me crazy that, Cinemark XD and the 70 millimeter are in two different theaters. But then when you go into XD, I showed you this with Flash. It still doesn't fill the whole screen. Yeah. And that just bothers me.
I just think movies should fill the screen. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just do that for me. Just hook me up. Hook it up.
And now I'm starting to wonder that whole Screen X thing, if that gimmick is going to catch on. Because that did feel a little bit special.
You liked it?
I liked it. You know what got me, though? It made this theater so bright because now you had 3 projectors going, shooting at each other. That's and weird. Then forward. So, you saw everybody in the theater, all of a sudden it just completely lit up.
That's weird, yeah.
But at least they filled up the screen. Because I'm with you. I just can't take when it can't fill up the screen. So I do get that. So what would you say is your QT's Hateful Eight? Yeah, I saw that in 70 millimeter.
I just bought that awesome. on Amazon to own the digital copy.
Did you?
Trying to watch it some more. I'm still watching QT stuff constantly. I watched just the other day. I watched Jackie Brown and Django Unchained back to back.
Oh, that's a good doubleheader.
For no particular reason.
On your projector?
I kind of looped them around the house.
Oh God!
as I was moving about, but I'm a big on the projector. I'm really big on watching tapes. Oh, I got this. I got to show you this Blu-ray I got. I'll show it to you after the show. It's 3 or 4 hours of just trailers.
Oh, yeah, I'm in for that, man.
Yeah,
I'm all for that.
But yeah, I'm really into the large format. I just want it to fill the screen.
Yeah,
it annoys me when it doesn't fill the screen.
Yeah, I mean, we could go to just the Cinemark and just to go inspect it. It's in one of their smaller theaters, but it says it's a 70 millimeter projector that they got it.
Wow.
And so South Lamar has a 70 millimeter, right?
I don't think so.
So what happened to Alamo's 70 millimeter from the Ritz?
I don't know.
Not that it's going to
Like
get...
you got to have specialized folks in to run them. You can't even like run them yourself.
Yeah. So what would you say, you know, coming up? Are you going to go see the Meg this weekend? It's limited, so it's going to be tough.
I mean, I don't know that I'll catch it this weekend. What's up, Gato? I don't know that I'll catch it this weekend, but I'll probably see it at some point, I guess.
So what would you say? Because, I mean, it's safe. So pretty much the Meg and then Blue Beetle, and I think summer movies are over.
Well, some movies are over.
Yeah.
Barbenheimer was the blow-off. Everything else is just...
So Barbie's your movie of the summer?
I think Barbie's movie of the year just for the sake of the fact that it just did everything it set out to do.
Yeah.
The marketing campaign got everybody on board, got the biggest opening of the year. It's going to be the biggest movie of the year. So, I mean, yeah, is it my favorite of the year? I can't say. I don't think so yet. I wouldn't even make that assumption at the moment because I think my tastes change throughout the year.
Yeah, movies.
I need
some
full year
movies
to
get
digest.
better with time. I
think it's an accomplishment. I think it's an awesome thing for movies and for movie fandom that movie came out. And I love. Did you see the pictures of Quentin Tarantino buying tickets to Oppenheimer and Barbie? It's just like he gets it. He understands what this is an event. You got to go to the theater and watch it.
Yeah,
you can't wait for this one. They created an event for us without it. The internet did it.
Yeah, the internet did it.
The internet, the biggest heel, the world's biggest heel, created this event for us, And I know you haven't fully engaged in it. And you will, whatever.
Oh, I will. No,
but you're
I'm
here
definitely
for
see
it. You're here for it, and you got it. And, like, I don't know when we'll have something like that again.
Yeah, I'll definitely see it in theaters. It's clearly worthy of a theatrical experience. And I just want to support movies, and I want to support the arts. It sucks that, Mike and I were talking about it too, that, studios are, we know how they're killing art and they're killing movies at the same time that it's the only way to see it. So you do have to support them in a way. There's part of me that says, I kind of hope Hollywood falls apart just so we can get back to making movies, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Because
there's a lot of the wrong people are controlling. But at the same time, I mean, I've been going to movies, like some of my first memories are movie theater memories. Like I know I must have been like 4 or 5 years old. I just remember a particular theater in Bayshore, New York, sitting in a balcony, which was like baller back then, to see Jaws.
Yeah.
And now I think back and I was like, yeah, I was way too young to be there, but I didn't care. Like my memory, I have great memories of sneaking into matinees or seeing how many movies can you see in one day, or just jumping around from so many, other movies, or just like experiencing movies with different family members. Like you said, it's not really an escape. It is in its own way somewhat like going to an amusement park with people. So it's a big part of your life. It's not the business. You do have a lot, like when we get ready to pass over to the next plane and we do a life review, we're going to have a lot of great memories that came because of movies. We were living vicariously through these characters, but in the end, they are still emotionally affecting us, whether we're laughing or crying or just sharing moments with people that we care about. I mean, that's awesome. That's worth keeping. That's worth not letting die.
Yeah.
And you can still have a lot of those experiences at home too, but that doesn't mean that this one should go away.
I don't think, no, absolutely. It needs to live. It needs to survive. And the studios need to allow it to survive. This needs to become a thing. I think that everything in what they have done over the last few years has just tanked all of their, all of the feasible options for like movie theaters to continue to thrive. And they need to put money into that.
Yeah, they need
to make them
it,
because their movies becoming a hit theatrically, or even just playing theatrically, that's going to give their movies a second life on video.
Yes,
you have to do that. You got to run them through the gauntlet.
I 100% agree, because before Barbenheimer, like we were talking about, like people were talking about 2023 theaters really struggling. But listen to this list of movies that came out in 2023, and it makes you like making out in the back row of Mortal Kombat 2. Exactly. That's what I mean. There's so many memories that would come from theaters. But in 2023, besides the 2 movies we were just talking about, you know, Super Mario Brothers Across the Spider-Verse, Guardians of the Galaxy, Little Mermaid. No, Avatar doesn't count. That was last year. Ant-Man, John Wick 4, Indiana Jones, Transformers, Creed 3, Fast 6,
10.
Fast 10. I was reading ahead. Fast X, Screen 6, Puss in Boots,
2,
Mission Impossible,
8.
Yes, 8. The Flash, Dungeons and Dragons, The Next Insidious, Evil Dead Rise, Megan, Cocaine Bear, Shazam, The Boogeyman, Knock at the Cabin, 80 for Brady, 65, Haunted Mansion, Asteroid City, Magic Mike 3. Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. The Blackening.
Did you say John Wick 4?
John Wick 4. I mean, Renfield.
That's
Champions. Dude, how...
Champions was good. I watched that on the Peacock.
How is this year considered a dark year for theaters with that list I just read?
I mean, there's a lot of flops in there.
There's a ton of flops. But if you just go for like sizzle value, that is a lot. And yeah, to add up, Mike, I think a big chunk of those were all sequels. Like Elemental was not a sequel. So Mario Brothers was the first one, even though it was an IP, just like Barbie. Ant-Man sequel, Indiana Jones, these are all sequels.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of sequels.
Megan was not a sequel. The Flash is a quasi-sequel. Dungeons and Dragons was their first swing at the door. Insidious was a sequel. Cocaine Bear, not a sequel. Air, Boogeyman, Knock at the Cabin. But man, now reading this list, that's a good thing to point out. The movies that were not sequels were solid this year.
Yeah.
That was a solid list of original IPs for their first run. I don't care what anyone says, dude. I enjoyed the shit out of Renfield. I don't know why I didn't do good. Even though that could be considered a quasi because it's a different angle on an established property. But I enjoyed it.
I thought Renfield was good.
Yeah.
I had some issues with it, but I thought it was good overall.
Yeah, overall, it could have been way worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I just reading that list, there is some disconnect that you have a list of movies like that, whether it's sequels, threequels, requels, prequels, and people are saying business is down. To me, that means the problem is not the creators necessarily, but the people who are holding the purse strings, the studios. Hollywood is in their hands, and they are literally strangling the golden goose that feeds them on a weekly basis.
Absolutely.
It just blows my mind, man. That's still a solid list. I mean, would you like to see a lot more original IPs? Sure. And how are we going to do that? Go out and support these movies.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Nicholas Hoult between Warm Bodies. I forgot that he was the lead in Warm Bodies, and in Renfield, I enjoyed him in one of my favorite original movies last year, The Menu. He was great in that too.
Right. Yeah.
Man, I just remember. Sometimes you just get on a roll of a lot of these like original movies that just kind of like. That would just catch your eyes, and The Menu was one of those last year. So, yeah, Hollywood's about to be the leader in the world for freedom of expression. Man, you just gotta, the wrong people have to, there's a lot of wrong people that do have to be washed out of there somehow that are causing these problems. And, we can talk a little bit about the strike, because how does this strike end? They're talking about this strike not even ending this year. How is that possible?
I don't know. Well, I mean, I think the Producers Association just announced that they're going to meet They're ready to negotiate.
Really?
I think the actors going on strike is a big deal, way bigger than the writers. Like, I think
well, I think they did it because of the writers, right? Would you say that they did that just to support them?
Well, I mean, I think that they have their issues too. They want to make sure they get. They're fighting for residuals as well. I don't know that they would. I mean, you hope that there's solidarity there, but they're both existing separately. But I think right now the Producers Association is ready to negotiate. That's the last I heard. Hopefully, they'll negotiate with both of them.
Yeah,
not just the actors.
Do you think the actors are just they're going to do it because they take them more serious? But one can't live without the other. They have to.
Well, I mean, the actors are definitely the most important.
Yeah,
I would say. So, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. To me, this issue is so complicated. I don't know how they resolve it. I just really don't know.
I just don't feel like. I think before, when you had the studio systems, the studios, at their core, they understood that they needed, they needed the actors, they needed that whole Hollywood system, and they realized they were a part of it, and they were the bigger part of it, and they were just always trying to take a little bit more for themselves. I feel like now you have streamers that necessarily weren't even in the movie business. They're in the content business.
Yeah.
They might not realize that how much they need the rest of this world because of where we are right now. Like, we're on YouTube. Like, fine, we'll just find other people to come create content. We don't need the quote unquote professionals. We'll get other people to do it, and it doesn't matter because we're going to get clicks anyway.
Yeah.
That scares me because then you feel like they're not going to be willing to play ball like the days of old. This is unprecedented times.
Yeah. But then you look at things like Barbenheimer and see how much money's being made there. And they're like, the opportunities are there. It's like, what are we doing wrong? We made a $300 million Indiana Jones movie, and it flopped. It's like, well, I mean, again, it's Indiana Jones Part 6. We don't need Part 6 of everything. Can we just get to the place where we're like 3 and we're out?
Yeah.
3 movies were out. People are tired of franchises.
Yeah.
It's like fast food all day long.
It is.
Fast food every day. Every day
is. It's supersized me of fast food,
if every
right?
day it's like you can eat at Whataburger, McDonald's, or Chick-fil-A. That's it. That's all we got. You're going to get tired of it eventually. No matter how you rotate them.
Yeah. No, you are. You're absolutely going to. So, and that used to be the thing, right? A beginning, middle, end. The trilogy came up with that whole, almost like just the story arc, right? The beginning, the middle, and the end. And Indiana Jones already kind of gave us that.
Yeah, he's had 3 endings. So it's kind of we don't need all that.
No.
Like, it's just folks are afraid to take chances. And this goes through if you're a young person trying to make a film, you're afraid to put yourself out there and have people judge your work,
Yeah.
People don't want to make anything original. They just want to take a big bet on an old IP that's worked in the past. And if the payoff is good, it'll be huge.
Yeah.
But I think people right now are just tired of it. They've seen everything. They were stuck at home for a few years watching nothing but streaming shows. They want movies. They want an event. They want something that they can actually go do and say, hey, I like movies. It used to be a thing. It used to be a big deal. Like when people would wear a suit to fly in a plane.
Yes.
People used to make a big deal about going to the movies.
It was.
Some people still do. And like it's kind of like, when someone doesn't want to see a movie, they want you to wait to see a movie because they think it's a big deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, you and I are in a different kind of mindset where it's just like we have to see it immediately. But like, it used to be a bigger deal. And I think Barbenheimer made everybody feel like, let's go back to that.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the time when it was a big, 2 big summer movies coming out and we could go enjoy them both. Or they don't usually come out on the same weekend,
Yeah.
I think counter programming is it never really works out like this. It never works out like this.
No.
And you know why this all happened, right?
No.
This all happened because Christopher Nolan had been making movies with Warner Brothers. You know that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He made all his movies with Warner Brothers. He always released them third week in July. That was his date.
That was his weekend, right?
That was his date.
Even back to The Dark Knight, that was always his weekend.
Absolutely. So he left Warner Brothers, right? Because he got mad about Tenet. He left Warner Brothers, set up his new movie, and said, okay, my date is third week in July. And Warner Brothers said, actually, that's our date.
Oh, no, I did not know that. That's awesome.
You say that's your date, but actually that was our date. So we're going to put Barbie there. And, it's not, people think that maybe they were like, it was like competitive. Maybe it is competitive because you are competing. But I think both of them have claim on that date.
Yeah.
And because of that, because of their refusal to back away from each other, because it's like, no, this is my date. No, it's my date. Okay, fine. Let's meet you at the point. We're going to trade pink slips kind of thing. And it's just like they both ended up, nobody backed down for the date. And it created this cultural event. And so everybody, like the algorithms, the studio already has algorithms trying to plan out their schedule. It's like, we don't know how to do that again. What I don't know how is that going to happen again? Like the studios are going to have to do work and like actually get together and try and make people go to both movies. But
Cola Wars, man, go study the Cola Wars. How Coke and Pepsi both won.
I mean, there's just like it just can't be recreated, And two movies that are so polar opposite. If it had been like, Oppenheimer versus Mission Impossible, it'd been a different story, right? Oppenheimer versus The Flash, nobody would have cared.
Yeah,
it was just like two movies that were so polar opposite.
Yeah.
Booked against each other with two big directors, two visionary auteur directors that stood out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People have, they make those shirts on Etsy where it's like written and directed by whoever.
Yeah.
They have Christopher Nolan ones and they have Greta Gerwig ones. They don't have ones for whoever directed The Flash.
No.
There's no directed by Andy Muschietti shirts. So it's like, it's great. I think that that's one thing studios need to learn to appreciate again is that a director is going to get people in the theater. If you can make your director a star, that's going to get your movie over, even if it sucks.
Yeah.
Even if it sucks. Look at Zack Snyder. Not that his movies suck, but let's face it, a lot of them are questionable, right?
Yeah.
Many of them are questionable.
Sucker Punch.
But he still has super loyal fans.
Yes.
Yeah,
and Anthony said it. Studios need to start communicating financially, and a studio trying to stick it to another studio, driving more effort in the marketing. Like they need hey, look at that. The world is pro wrestling again. Let's work a fight.
Yeah.
Let's gimmick a fight. Or you have babyface, like you're talking about Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder, for no apparent reason publicly, nobody knows why he did this. Out of nowhere, he tweets, I'm really looking forward to taking my kids to see Blue Beetle. And then he posted a picture of Blue Beetle. Was that like an olive branch to WB and DC? Like, what did he do that for? To me, I was interested. I'm like, wait, why did he do that? Does he know something we don't know?
He's probably a fan of Cobra Kai. Wants to support
Zolo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that.
I'm going to buy 3 tickets to it. I'm going to use all my AMC Pass tickets to just purchase
just
tickets.
to go that.
Just to support it.
Yeah, I got my fingers crossed because again, not even for just because of the whole superhero genre, which the superhero genre is not going away. Sorry, it's going to be like a horror movie genre. Just take it. We don't have to have so many, whatever, or we do. I don't know, but I'm a fan of him. Like he was great in Cobra Kai. Maybe does George Lopez need a comeback? I don't. Whatever. I want it to work. It sucks when properties that you like don't work. And this is a new one. And all it means is if this doesn't work, then it might mean some movie that you really want to see down the road might not get made because of that. Right? So it's beneficial for these movies to work. Even when you see some of them are not going to work. But I don't know I'm with you. Maybe we'll just book the seats because we talked about this. I think theaters do buy up seats with some marketing bucks.
Probably.
I feel like it is something that happens. But they just need to this is a huge milestone for the whole movie experience this summer between Barbenheimer at the time of these two monumental strikes. It's time for some people to start looking in the mirror, but I'm afraid it's going to be tough. I'm afraid it's going to be really tough that one side's not going to be willing to, the sides are starting to separate even more, and that's a little scary. And I don't know what's going to happen, but
Yeah.
And we haven't even talked about how AI fits into this, right? How does is AI going to come up with original IP, or is AI good for, prompts for stuff that's already established?
I don't know how they're going to figure out how to work it, because just like we were talking about before, it's going to become a tool that the writers actually use anyway. If you eliminate AI, that's one thing as far as it generating IPs, but like if you're a writer, you might use AI to organize your notes, to create an outline, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To help you write some of those early draft stuff. So they're going to use it. So how do you eliminate it completely? It's out there.
Yeah.
Don't know. I don't know how it's going to work out. I'm not watching any AI generated movies though.
That we know of.
I don't. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it'll be apparent, right? They'll try to sneak it out, but it's like, this looks like an AI.
Yeah, I don't know. They do you admit it? Or I kind of like the idea of just like finding a way to like marry it into an art, right? Not there doesn't know. The problem is it's as soon as something works, it's just like, let's turn everything into that,
right?
Instead of just like kind of weaving it in naturally, I think is the way to organically make it go about. So I don't know if you for a go home spot, are there, like, now that this is over and the summer is kind of simmering, we're saying goodbye to the summer with the Meg. In my book, The Meg and Blue Beetle. What are there any movies that you're looking forward to like the rest of the year?
The Iron Claw.
The Iron Claw.
That's probably that Christmas. And Killers of the Flower Moon is really all I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
But I don't know what else is out there. There's that one movie that I've seen ads for, but they're intermittent, and it's an original IP. It's some new thing. It's got Denzel Washington's son and
oh yes, I did see the trailer for that.
Yeah.
In the theater.
Yeah, so I don't remember what it's called, but it looked like it could be cool.
That's always fun, man. When that was one of the ones that, like, when you're in the theater and all of a sudden you catch a trailer that you didn't see on your phone and you didn't see at home on the internet, that would be good. What about? Are you looking forward to the Exorcist requel?
Not particularly.
No.
I mean, like, it's nah. I just Exorcist. There's only one Exorcist.
Yeah.
And there's been 100 parodies and spin-offs. It's just like, I don't know about that.
That would be...
I just don't... I don't know that... even in the... you saw the trailer?
Yeah, yep.
Even the demonic faces in that just don't match up with Linda Blair and, the original movie. It just... I don't know. I don't think... Again, I think Exorcist has just existed in its time and place. I don't think you can redo it. I don't know.
That's going to be really tough to replicate. And I know they said they're going to ignore part 2 and part 3, and this is just going to be, well, it's David Gordon Green. He's going to try to do the same thing they did at Halloween, but like that wasn't exactly good. The first one got really good results, but the second and third one, right, didn't. But they are going to, I mean, it is the 50th anniversary of the actual Exorcist, and I think that would be really fun to watch on the big screen again as a Fathom event. But yeah, I'm kind of with you. I mean, I'm gonna definitely check out The Exorcist. So it's got my curiosity, but I think
how awesome though would it be that to live in a world. Let's imagine this reality, the 618 universe version of this reality, where instead of constantly putting out sequels, reboots, and IPs, we could be like, hey, there's a new movie by David Gordon Green and Danny McBride. About satanic possession.
Yeah.
Is it The Exorcist? No, it's a new thing. It's a new movie.
Yeah.
I think that would be more exciting.
That would be fun. It doesn't seem they're there yet. Again, this all comes down to people. The people with the money are not wanting to spend their money, but they're going to get money outside of the industry. And the people outside of the industry are kind of like when you go to Saudi Arabia and you accept the money from the Prince WWE, you know that person who's giving you the money is technically booking the show. And they're like, you know what? I kind of want Shawn Michaels to come out of retirement. Okay, we'll see Shawn Michaels come out of retirement. So when you start taking that money in movies, I wonder if it's the same thing. That they're like, oh, we kind of want you to do this. So it makes it a little bit tougher. But
Tom Cruise has only done Mission Impossible movies now for a while.
Yeah.
He's been doing nothing but that. I know he did Top Gun 2 and that got over, but I mean, there's only one Top Gun sequel, and that's a big part of why that movie did so well.
Yeah.
There's 8 Mission Impossibles, so it's like, oh, okay.
Right.
It's like, I always think of like, what is it? The beginning of Tropic Thunder, where they do all the Scorcher trailers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like Scorcher.
Scorcher
1 through 8. That's kind of like where we are now, and people just keep doing. Would be great to see an original Tom Cruise movie. Why not? Or maybe at least do another one that hasn't had a sequel yet. Give us Edge of Tomorrow 2.
Yeah. Live, Die, Repeat.
Give us Risky Business 2.
Oh man, yeah.
How about Risky Business 2?
Risky Business Requel.
Risky Business Requel. Son of Risky Business.
Son of Risky.
Yeah.
Son of Risky Business is perfect.
Give us something like that.
Yeah. Because Mike said Napoleon, that's coming out in November with Joaquin Phoenix. You got Dune 2, that's a sequel, but people are psyched. Five Nights at Freddy's is going to be their first pass, even though it's an IP.
Nicolas Cage stole that thunder, though. Sorry.
Yeah, that is risky. He has Mummy. Riskier business. Oh wait, how can we forget? As if nothing changes, we will be finally getting the Thanksgiving movie. So that's supposed to be this year.
That'll be fine. I mean, we'll see how it is.
Yeah, fingers crossed that they can do that. But no one's even talking about the Marvels. I think after Blue Beetle, which is very questionable, I think the rest of the year it's going to be a 1-2 whiff with the Marvels and Aquaman. I think they're both going to struggle. I think for whatever's happening with theaters, they're neither one of those films are going to be welcomed with open arms. And whether they're good or not, I don't know, remains to be seen. But those two are going to be whiffs, right?
I won't be seeing them.
Yeah.
I have zero desire to see either of those movies.
Yeah. And I think you were not alone in that. September has usually been like the dumping ground of movies. And then that's when you get these sneaky good horror movies. Oh, they're Nun 2, My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3, Equalizer 3. Pretty sums.
I love the Equalizer movies, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, remains to be seen. Oh, and then what we talked about earlier, Saw.
Another Saw.
Yeah, it's Saw X, but it's sandwiched between Saw 2 and Saw 3, right?
Yeah.
So, but we'll go home on that spot. Sorry, I forgot about that. You pointed out something really interesting about that Saw X trailer. That's a babyface turn for Jigsaw.
Yeah.
What? Did you see that coming?
I mean, I didn't see the majority of the Saw movies, so I don't know. Maybe he's a sympathetic character, but yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. All right, so there's still some reasons to be going to theaters.
But people need to go to the theater and support their movies.
Yeah.
We've all been lulled into complacency about streaming. It'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
And you know what? I get going to the movies is not for everybody, but if you are a person that likes to go to the movies, carve out some time and go see something you want to see. Because movie theaters could go away. You never know.
Yeah. I think you'll always have like retro theaters, but you're right. As just having it at your disposal, it may not happen. Baby Yoda with Jigsaw. I think the Ghostbusters thing got pushed.
Everything got pushed.
Everything
that was supposed to come out
is going to really be pushed.
Yeah.
All right, man. I think that's a wrap. But yeah, I probably out of that whole list, I think Iron Claw's got to be the number one movie for me too. I've got to wait all the way till December 22nd. It's an A24 movie. That's not a horror movie.
I'm into it.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be good.
I think it's going to be a sleeper hit of the year.
Do we live in a world where something with the Von Erichs is Oscar worthy?
There's a distinct possibility.
Right?
Yeah.
That could be really fun. And I mean, I think A24 already has like legit street cred, but would that give them the little gold man cred? I don't know. We'll see. All right, man. Well, that's a wrap, and we'll be back next week for what I guess will be our season finale.
Season finale?
Season finale? We can say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it. I don't know how to end it. We're just AI, so I'm going to end it with you showing my fingers aren't fully rendered.